Hey, welcome to Bears Banner. My name is Bernard Muhammad. Tonight on the broadcast, we have Keith Floyd, Guy Moore, Jay Beasley. I'm not sure if Tammy going to be able to make it. We're waiting on Mark Chin and Dr. Quick. Quick is having some technical difficulties getting in, and I guess when Mark could get settled, he's going to get on. How's everybody doing tonight?
Excelente.
Better because I'm at home now.
Okay. Hey, Jay was just talking about offline that he had heard the Kevin Warren press conference. I actually missed it today. Hey, Jake, do you mind sharing a little bit of that press conference? And for those who don't know, Kevin Warren is the new president of the Bears, a brother in the house.
Another brother in the house. And you know, that's what I liked about it, just to listen to him and how he spoke about his passion for taking his job. And he said, as he talked to a lot of his friends, they were saying like, well, they 3-14. They got the number one pick in the draft. He was like, and every time somebody spit something negative to him, it made him want to take the job more. He said that he came to the Philadelphia game against the Eagles as a fan. He said, I got online, I bought tickets. He was like, me and my daughter and a couple of my nieces and nephews, we all went to the game. He was like, we sat in the stands. I didn't sit in no press box. We sat in the stands. He was like, and just to see the passion from the fans for a team that was 3-14 just reinforced me taking this job. So I think he's going to do an excellent job. His resume is impeccable. This dude is a lawyer. He's had 20 plus years in the NFL outside of what he's done with the Big Ten. So I'm pumped. He had me pumped. I'm like, okay. He talked about the Arlington Heights deal, and one of the reporters told him, he was like, so what's the time that on the Arlington Heights stadium? He's like, you know what? He's like, let me get to you back. And he was like, I'll get back to you in 6 months. He was like, what I got to do is I got to go through all the paperwork and see what it is that we need to get through. He was like, if I just tell you anything now, it's just one of those things where I just be telling you anything. He's like, I'm not here to just tell you anything. He's like, give me 6 months to go through everything, and I'll get back to you on that. So this dude, man, if y'all have not heard this press conference, this dude won the press conference today.
Hey, you know what? And I got to take my glasses off for this one. And if y'all ain't really up on Kevin Warren, I'm going to tell y'all something that I heard from him. It was at the press conference, but I heard somewhere around. I was completely sold. He said, you know what? Ryan Poles reports to me, but he is in charge of football operations. I can't say no more. You heard that. Now what happens? You're going to find a brother that's out there trying to generate some revenue, trying to get a stadium. Ryan Poles has a job of being football operation. Your boy Matt Eberflus is the coach. He's going to let them do their job. The great part about that is they're allowed to bring their expertise. If things don't go well, they can't look and say like, oh, Ted Phillips was behind the scenes. What I love about this is a guy who's coming in and handling his function and letting a team operate the way it's supposed to by using his components. I'm psyched.
And he did say in his press conference, he was like, hey, I'm here for the business side of this. He was like, that's my thing. He was like, this is the charter franchise. He's like, I'm here for the business side of the Chicago Bears organization. Mm-hmm. So, man, the future looks bright. The future looks bright.
And if you like us,
Ryan Poles just got to get everything else right. But everything is in place. Mm-hmm. Everything. This for the first time I can look at this Chicago Bears franchise and be like, okay, they got everything in place. Mm-hmm. This is the first time that a non-family member has been a president or a CEO of this franchise. So this is big. This is monumental. And I'm telling you, I'm stoked for this whole thing, man.
And you know what? You don't have to reach to be a coach. Kids, when you grow up, you can be the general manager for the Chicago Bears. Right? And then you stand with a brother like this all the time. It's like, yes.
It's a novel concept to see people get hired for a job and do their job. Yep. The whole idea of, a lot of people have huge egos, especially at the NFL level, and they want to, talk about their job. Then get into somebody else's job or what have you. I think it's a great opportunity for all of these men to come together, and each of them is responsible for one certain area for the betterment of the whole.
Of the team, for the whole organization. Absolutely.
That's something
Absolutely.
you don't hear
I agree.
about. You know,
I agree,
you
Plank.
generally hear somebody come in, my offense is going to work this way, or my defense is so great. You're not hearing any of that. You're like, what can we do to help us get better every day?
See, but humility allows you to
a good thing that you see with the Chicago Bears is us as fans. One of the things we complain about was we'd say this slogan, "Same old Bears," right? And I think right now we need to abandon that language because we don't know what the outcome going to be, but we know it's not the same old Bears as far as some of the decisions that's being made. Even when you look at when Poles came in, he revamped a lot of this college scouting department, which if your scouting department doesn't change much, even though you could change coaches, you're still looking at the same ideology exists as far as when you're looking at college players. Then you got your pro scouting department. If that don't change, you're kind of looking at the same kind of methodology when you're looking at trades and etc. or the free agency signing. So to see Poles make that change in the scouting department, and also to see the change coming in management and upper management, that is progress moving away from this is the same Bears, same old Bears philosophy. What you got, Jay? And Guy?
No, I was just saying, welcome to the new age of the NFL. That's how I look at this. Welcome to the new age of the NFL.
What I like about all the components, I always say humility allows you to borrow the eyes of the person next to you. When you can actually sit in and you can take some intel from someone, you may say, hey, I don't know if I'm going to necessarily take it, but duly noted. And then you sit down, look at it, and say, you know what? He was right. When you're able to sit up and do that and say, it's not about I'm your boss or such and such. We may be sitting next to each other, look at the exact same picture and see two entirely different things. But the things that you see may radiate and magnify more than me. But if I'm humble enough to actually absorb that and look at that, it makes us all better.
Okay. Hey, looking at the wild card weekend and transitioning from the Bears, there was a couple of reminders of the Bears season this year. One of them, notably, was last night. I was having flashbacks of Santos missing field goals, extra points, right? So I just transitioned into that where the Dallas game, where their field goal kicker missed 4 extra points in the game, and he was good all year. But as far as that, I was just kind of making that transition with the Bears that becomes valuable because when you was looking at that game, by the time they had 24 points, they should have had 28.
28.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was starting to make a difference. And in that game, I don't know if y'all want to start with this game first, but I was like, man, they could actually get 3 touchdowns and go for 2-3 times and the game is tied because your field goal kicker is actually missing extra points.
You're right. I mean, this weekend, I saw some epic failures in games. I mean, it's horrible failures. You had a quarterback throw 3 interceptions in one quarter to the same guy and threw 4 interceptions in the first half. And still came back and won. You had a kicker missed 4 extra points and his team still won a blowout. You had a linebacker that kept running past people and not tackling.
Knocking over there. Yeah.
That was Roquan now.
Yeah.
Hey, that was a Jay Cutler thing. What game he threw? I mean, he threw to, I think it was a D-back.
He threw 4 to him.
Okay.
I can't remember who the D-back was. I can't remember who it was.
It was the Atlanta game, wasn't it? It was Atlanta, I believe.
But he threw 4 picks to the same guy. Hey, let me tell you something. I was watching. First of all, let me go back to Dallas because I actually thought, I was saying to myself, like, they opening the door, they opening the window. Is Tom Brady going to come back? Is he going to come back? I watched him earlier this year come back. Is he going to do it? Nah, Thomas done, man. I don't know if y'all saw how he was missing open receivers. Balls was falling in front of people. I hold that comment because Byron Leftwich got fired today, but we ain't gonna talk about
it.
He
did get fired.
He did get fired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to Pittsburgh, Byron. Because brother Thomas like need a gig, bro. Come on down. But you know what?
So I feel like they made him the scapegoat. Them getting blew out last night, and it wasn't his fault. It's just Tampa Bay. Technically, they shouldn't even been in the playoffs. I mean, they won their division. Did they win their division? And they won their division. What, a 7-9 record, I believe.
9-8.
Oh, okay, 9-8. But so it's one of them things where it's just like it is what it is. And then going back to the Jacksonville game, I almost turned their game off, and I'm so glad I didn't. I'm so glad I didn't because to me, it was a delight to see Trevor Lawrence come back and overcome his mistakes. And when I say he came back with a vengeance, he came back with a vengeance. But I'm going to tell you something. As a young quarterback, that put him on the map. That win put him on the map.
Yeah, it did. And guess what he did afterwards? He went to the Waffle House.
Right.
What we were talking about that in real time, that young man, he showed me something. He showed me a lot.
Yes, he did.
Himself up, not, after throwing those 4 interceptions, he kept coming. And the Jacksonville as a team, they showed me something too. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not saying they're about to win their next game, but this is good improvement for a young team. So that might be somebody that a team that we start looking out for in the future.
I agree too. You know what? The interesting thing about all that too was, I mean, we even mentioned on the text, I was like, I have a newfound respect for this kid because what happened is after the 4th interception, we talk about not just a kid, but a lot of veteran quarterbacks that be doing some of the craziest stuff like we saw with Tom Brady. Tom Brady threw a ball in the end zone, and that ball looked like he just wanted to throw it to you. It wasn't even, he was trying to throw it out of bounds. I'm like, whoa. But this Lawrence kid, he just took a deep breath. He started taking what the defense was giving him. It's not really as much as I'm trying to disrespect the Chargers, but I am disrespecting the Chargers.
And you should.
They look terrible. And what happens after the smoke clears after that? The offensive coordinator gets fired. I'm like, if you're going to fire him, you might as well get a defensive coordinator and the coach.
How did you fire the offensive coordinator? You up 27-0.
Right.
And you fired the offensive coordinator because the defense gave up 30 because and it still wouldn't have been enough because the defense gave up 31 points. Yeah. But you ain't gonna fire the defensive coordinator. You're gonna fire the offensive coordinator. Man, come on, man. Be real.
Let's go to that game and talk about that game a little more as far as the Jaguars and the Chargers. For those who missed that game was 27-0.
27-0 at halftime.
And the interesting thing, I was at a party for one of my frat brothers, G Kim. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
And I was with Quick, and Quick will be on. He said he'd be on in a few minutes. But anyway, we was there laughing at the game, and I got in my car. So I'm about to make it home for halftime. And as soon as I got in my car, I text Quick. After I thought about the guy, I said, Quick, they about to come back. And Quick called me. He was like, What's your text? What you mean? What are you saying? I said, they about to come back, man. And he said, no, man, it's over. Right? He started joking about. Then I thought about it, I said, Quick, I'm telling you, they're going to come back. So I said to him, I think at the first touchdown, I said, Quick, they're going to come back. And anyway, my logic was I've seen enough games in the NFL where if a team does not get any offensive chemistry, and what I noticed was the last 3 drives before halftime, they was all punts. Prior to that, they had the punt. I was like, they don't have any offensive chemistry because all those touchdowns were, other than one, the first one, were all set up by interceptions.
Short fields.
Yeah.
And those 3 drives to me indicated like if Trevor could get over this, that they could come back because as soon as they came out the halftime, they only scored 3 points at the halftime. They never got back into offensive rhythm. They really didn't know what could work offensively because they never had to work to do it.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
About that was the same thing that kind of happened in that Vikings game. That's to kind of compare when the Vikings were losing to the Colts. The Colts had like a couple of pick sixes and etc. They did nothing else after halftime. What you got, Plank?
Yeah, that Chargers game, the Chargers coach made some epic failures as well. He played all of his starters the week before in a meaningless game, and their top receiver, Mike Williams, got hurt, so he wasn't available for the rest of the playoffs. And you can really tell that their quarterback was looking for Mike Williams. So the coach talking, later on talking about, oh, I'm sick or whatever. Like, no, that was your job. You did this to your team. So I'm surprised to see that he's still coaching that team today.
Because I actually thought he was going to get fired. Because if I was the owner, I would fire him. I would definitely fire him. But of course they put it on the offense coordinator. It's just crazy to me because I can't understand that. But the Chargers and they were so undisciplined as well because they had a lot of. I think Joey Bosa himself, did he have 2 personal fouls? I think he did.
Yeah.
It was like they got undisciplined, and like you said, Bernard, it was like no offensive chemistry, and then the defense got frustrated because the Jaguars start moving the football. So now they're like, okay, we got to do something. And so that was an epic fail on that entire coaching staff. And if I was the owner, I would fire Stokely. I really would. I would have fired him after that game. 27-0 is
Trevor Lawrence because initially they was giving him. He was under a lot of pressure initially, and he was making turnovers. But they actually adapted to the pressure. But even when the pressure was coming, after he got over that at halftime, he seemed settled and he evaded the pressure. He threw with poise. And he matured. We watched that young man grow up in front of us in the game.
Yes, we did.
Right? Because
we did.
Now on the other side, what I saw was veterans who came out like gangbusters, who got full of themselves and at halftime couldn't make the adjustment. They got 1 sack. All that pressure, they ended up on there. I think they had 1 sack and by Khalil Mack, and then they had 2 other people who had a half a sack apiece. They sacked them at the same time. So they were with all the talk in the postseason, before the season started, on how Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa was going to be killing it. Okay, I know Joey Bosa missed a lot of the season, but in that game, when it counted, other than Khalil Mack 1 sack, those 2 could not get to him in the second half. And they ripped that defense apart. And I still don't understand why the offensive coordinator got fired because he did get 27 points.
Right.
Hey, let me tell you something. Joey Bosa, he's a veteran, so he should have composed himself much better. But on the other hand, the referee in that case went out of his way to follow behind Joey Bosa, saying, "What was that you said? What was that you saying?"
Yeah, see.
In order to goad him into getting a penalty. When I saw that, I was looking like, this ain't something you normally see unless the Bears are playing Pittsburgh and they want to,
pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
But, he had a right to be upset about that second call, even though he went overboard over the first. So this is an example of another veteran that lost his composure and cost his team a victory. So we can't let him off the hook for that.
And it's also a thing too with this. Something got to happen with these referees, man, because they are really over the last couple of weeks. They are really like deciding games. I don't know if y'all would watch that Seattle-Detroit game.
Oh yeah,
not Seattle-Detroit. Whoever Seattle played last week to get into the playoffs.
To get to the playoffs.
To get to the playoffs. It was a lot of bad calls in that game, and Detroit was kind of upset about it because they're like, "Hey, y'all cost us. These calls cost us into getting into the playoffs." So I don't know if these referees, they got full of themselves, and it's been some bad calls, man. Now I am gonna say, this past weekend I saw a lot of calls where they didn't even go to the instant replay. They kind of huddled. And they went to these real quick decisions, but I'm not mad about it because a lot of times when they made those quick decisions, they was the right decisions. As far as me looking at it on the from my TV and looking at it, they made the right decisions where they didn't go like, okay, we need to look at this and it's taking 5 minutes off the game. They made some real quick decisions and they were the best decisions. So I'm the regular season and maybe the postseason going to be different, but that thing that you talked about, Keith, with Joey Bosa, that he baited him into getting that call.
Okay. Hey, thank everybody who's watching Bass Banner tonight, watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch TV. Please hit the subscribe button. Since the Bears season is over right now, we're talking about the wild card weekend. Let's move to the Ravens and Bengals game. The Bengals won that game 24-17. That was an interesting game there. There was, that game was pretty tight. There was some seesaws, and that's a game to me. You could tell what's the importance of momentum in a game, because there was a play. I'm trying to make sure I'm not mixing these games up. There was a play that if the Ravens had capitalized on, I think it was a possible turnover. That game would have been 2 scores for them. But because it didn't happen, that gave the Bengals a chance to, I believe, tie the game up at that point. But the Ravens have an interesting situation going on, because in that game, the day before, you had your star quarterback, or maybe it was 2 days before, actually sent out a tweet saying, I'm not going to play, before the team had even announced that he was not going to play. But anyway, with that, Tyler Huntley did. It's Tyler Huntley, right? Yeah. He did pretty good in that game, but you know what? He's not Lamar Jackson. I tell you that.
No, he's not.
He's not Lamar Jackson, and that team is getting frustrated because I heard the running back, I can't think of his name right now.
KJ Dobbins.
He was actually upset that he's not being used in that game. And in that game, I know what it was. It was a turnover when Huntley tried to dive over the top. They were
the goal line,
but it ended up being a fumble. But Dobbins was upset about that. He was like, "That ball should have been given to me." But you can't blame him. What's that, Plank?
He's right. Dobbins, he was that's the best running I've seen him do since Ohio State. I mean, this guy was ripping off 5, 6, 8 yards to carry. A lot of times you would see him still standing up at the end of the tackle, and then they run other offensive linemen into the pile to get him extra yards. I was like, what is it? They forgot how to tackle people or grab their legs. You still got to hit the guy.
Or as I would say, trip him.
Something. He had a right
that's legal.
About that.
Hey, what's up, Quick?
What's happening, man?
Dr. Quick, you know what? But I could see all the air just go out of Ravens' body, man. When they on the goal line, dude ran that joker back. You can just look at guys. Guys are just running just to be running. They running like, man, I can't believe this, man. I canceled my trip to Cancun because I just knew we was going, man. Mama,
But this that new age NFL that I always talk about. The bottom line is I can't understand when teams are on the goal line, you line up in these 5 wides, or you line up in all these other formations, you need 1 yard. And they got a fullback that's a beast. Line up in the I formation and get your 1 yard, man. You got a quarterback that's going to try to jump over the pile from the 2, gets the ball, and then he wasn't even close. And he throwing his hands up like touchdown. Dude, you wasn't even close. You wasn't even close. So now you got the ball stripped out your hand from Cincinnati, who I didn't know, which I thought I knew a lot of Ohio State players. That guy went to Ohio State. Hudson, I think is his last name. And if y'all didn't see it, he was mic'd up. He was mic'd up that game too. So if y'all didn't get a chance to see that after he scored the touchdown, y'all need to go back and see that. But the play call was just a bad play call. Line up in the I formation to run the football, man.
Hey, Quick, we on the Ravens-Bengals game. What's your take on that game?
Man, don't even get me started about the Ravens right now. I've been, first of all, you need a quarterback. That's all you need. That's all I'm gonna say. It wasn't designed for them to win the game. They gave it the old college try. But one of the things is that I don't know if Papa Harbaugh taught his sons about clock management at all.
Yeah,
I have no.
yeah.
Maybe they was just throwing the ball in the backyard, but hey, sons. Oh, by the way, that big clock thing right there. You at some point, if you
You have to manage
coach,
that.
yeah, you may have to manage that at some point if you become a coach. I know the numbers are flashing, but that doesn't, I don't know. But the both Harbaugh brothers did poor clock management in the playoffs.
Yeah, they was like his father was probably on the sideline somewhere in the stands, like, kid, Flavor Flav. He's down the sideline doing like this. No, I mean the clock. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? But that's true. But this is the whole thing that us as old school guys, I think a lot of young guys look at us like, y'all don't know. These players are better. Back in the day, they understood percentages. It was certain stuff that was going to happen. If I'm on the goal line, it was certain things. It wasn't no hocus pocus, dominocus. Get ball, block the hell out of everybody, run it in.
Run the football.
Ringling Brothers crap that's happening now. So many games been lost because of stupidity.
No, it's not stupidity. Right now, we're in the age of analytics.
Yeah,
so now
that's right. Yeah.
they run plays based off analytics. So
Analytics.
We didn't have analytics. 1 yard, my two big guys running
3 yards in the cloud of dust.
Yeah, that was what it was. Now it's like, you know what? This 5 receiver play looks really enticing right now. I think we can get away with this.
You
can't. You can't.
Yeah.
So
See, back in the day,
analytics is killing the game.
Our analytics back in the day was we're gonna make William Perry a eligible receiver.
Right.
That was
You know what? In that situation, also what I thought, and it may be cynical of me, I thought they were in that game trying to devalue Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
By having Tyler Huntley do too much. Like on that play, get the easy thing, right? But now you're trying to get your quarterback, to me, almost like he could do the same things.
Right. He could. If Lamar could do it, he could do it.
Yeah.
If Lamar could do it, he could do it. Yeah.
Right. And I may be being cynical on that, but it to me, that's why I kind of got that they trying to devalue him so they can make it seem like their offer is what he should take. Because even in the negotiation, I know some of it's strategic, not announcing that he if he can't play, but in some of it, to me, they were trying to make it look like we don't know why he's not playing in this game, right? They didn't even talk about it, right? They kind of like left it hanging, and it wasn't until he mentioned why he wasn't playing it became public, right? They was gonna ride it out like to the end. Like I said, from the coach point of view, I understand that, but to me, they was trying to make it look like Lamar is just not being a good soldier. He's just not.
You know what they did there, with what I heard, if I'm not mistaken, they were saying one of the disconnects was the fact that somebody from the front office or something leaked his contract information, thinking that they were going to get some sentiment from the fans. And the fans like, duh, he the best player we got. What you want? And it didn't work. So now you got a disgruntled quarterback. And I don't, honestly, unless they just throw the whole bank at him, I don't know if he's going to come back or not.
But guess what? Yes, he is. Because guess what? They're going to franchise him. They're going to franchise him.
Yeah, so they'll have him next year.
They'll have him next year. They're going to franchise him.
We just saw this with, this guy that played here that they gave this big contract to, Roquan Smith. Does it ring a bell? And we saw it the year before with Allen Robinson. So when you franchise a player, you kind of almost devalue his worth at the moment. And so any injury, Lamar just told you, any injury I have, I'm not going all out for y'all. So
because, and I don't know if y'all saw RG3 put out a tweet. He tweeted something out. I don't know if y'all saw that tweet, but he was like, when I played and when I got injured, he was like, I was doing it because I was trying to be a soldier for my team. I was trying to be a soldier for the organization. I was trying to be a soldier for my teammates. He was like, but guess what? That don't work no more. He was like, Lamar Jackson is doing the right thing for himself. Because I feel like technically he didn't play because he's not 100%. And had he had a contract, he probably would have played. But his thing is like, you know what? Y'all ain't even trying to sign me to to my contract, I'm not going to risk further injury for this organization. And I can't blame him. I can't blame him for
You
that.
saw his tweet today. It said it all.
You want to know who
have
else
something
made
of value.
right
and
Right,
you-
yup.
I saw that.
What was his tweet?
His tweet
saw
was
that.
basically, if you have something of value,
I
you
saw
don't
that.
risk letting it go.
Yep. I saw that.
So let's play subliminal message right here.
You're right.
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 And so me and Bernard been talking the past couple of weeks. When they signed Roquan to that big contract, it was over. He was like, I ain't playing. Because there's no way that I don't talk to him first. This guy's been here. He's been my franchise. I'm going to talk to him first. I'm not re-signing, signing, ultra signing, or whatever signing anybody until we figure out what's happening with him. He's the franchise.
Yeah.
I'm not signing anybody else.
Yeah, and it's no, and I understand. We love Roquan. We have some people who just not gonna get over it. I understand it. But
What you talking about? No, just
Roquan, it's not gonna get over it. I mean, I can't do nothing about that, but I'm trying to put it in my opinion on how I feel about it from a Lamar Jackson point of view. There's no way we could personalize an organization that we work for. There's no way somebody gonna come here in 6 games or say in our job the last 6 weeks to 6 months, and they gonna get a job, get more money than me. Right? I've been trying to get my thing done all year, and this guy come play a game. It doesn't matter that Lamar was the first one to congratulate him because he's not mad. Roquan got money,
business,
right? It's the business side of it. But in reality, he like, man, hold on, how he get his contract work out? Our situation is exactly the same. I have no agent. He has no agent.
Yep.
Right? I've been taking playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, that tells me you still believe we we put all our money on defense and we could just put anybody back there. That's shown by you don't bring nobody here to play with me. You don't even try to run an offense that highlights some of these other players. You run an offense that puts me in jeopardy every play. That's the offense they run. Their offense is Lamar. Then receivers who come like Hollywood get frustrated, not because Lamar is running all the time on his own. They're calling their offense to be like that. Mm-hmm. Right?
I told y'all before the season was over when Roquan went to Baltimore, I said on this show, like, they got a problem because they can only pay one person.
Yep.
It's either gonna be Roquan or it's gonna be Lamar, and whoever don't get paid gonna get franchised. Like you said, Bernard, they chose to give Roquan the money because the Ravens naturally, by nature, have always been a defensive team, and that's who they gonna pay. Lamar Jackson has been on this team for 5 years.
Yeah.
How many good receivers has he had on this team?
Right.
How many times have they designed the offense where they're not depending on him to use his legs to run the offense? Greg Roman redid the entire offense to center it around Lamar Jackson running the football. So
This
I'm not surprised.
This is what happens when you win a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer. Right? When you got Trent Dilfer, but let's do this now.
Joe Flacco, when you got a quarterback like Joe Flacco.
Yeah, Joe Flacco, Trent Dilfer. Let's put some respect on this man's name. The 2019 MVP, Lamar Jackson. Let's put some respect on his name.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not mad that Roquan got but you put your franchise at jeopardy by signing him for what? Let me ask you a question. What was the rush?
Right.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, the timing and everything was bad. Hey, Plank, you go, and then I'm gonna go to the next game. What you got, Plank?
Yeah, I think the biggest slap in the face was that they were in the same situation. First, they kept talking about Lamar Jackson didn't have his own agent. He had his own agent. I mean, he was his own agent. So it made it difficult, and he didn't understand numbers and all these other things. Then you have another guy come in that plays defense and plays questionable defense. I don't care what the stats say. That ends up
Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Frank.
record-setting contract on your team in half a season.
And what did he not have? What did Roquan not have? That's another factor, because you basically tell a quarterback, with this whole thing about him not having an agent, it's more so an ego thing. It's really less about business, because now what you do is you're trying to send a message to your guy like, okay, yeah, well, you know what? He's compliant. And like I said, like we all said, Lamar's not in Roquan's pocket, so he happy for him as a man. But by the same token, you didn't risk your body. You didn't put up stats. Your work shows. And you get a guy that comes in who's a stud. You pay him right away, and your other guy, you just look at him like that. That's like you can't fix that though.
This situation was kind of similar as far as the outcome could be. It could be the same outcome when Aaron Rodgers took that money. Now, to me, it seemed like him and Devontae Adams had talked about, right? How can we both be on this team? And, because that's what quarterbacks, if you really let Tom Brady do, this is how I want to keep my team. Aaron wouldn't have took too much money. And Devontae Adams was like, you know what? You don't even have to talk to me no more. Right? He didn't even negotiate no more. He was like, I want out of here. Because he knew, based off salary cap, there was no way he was going to get that money in Green Bay. So players even have to know that too. Like, how is our team going to win? And how do I affect the salary cap? Now, if you just want all the money, then you got to expect that you're not going to probably win in the NFL eventually, unless you're a person like Mahomes, right? Right now, I'm going to say Mahomes is so special that he took that kind of money and was still able to produce. He's producing with guys that's kind of like, you're like, man, I thought it was going to be a fall off from.
Everybody said it was going to be a fall off, right?
Yeah. Right. I mean, they got it with the moving like it wasn't. But hey, let's move to the Giants and the pretenders. I'm saying not the pretenders, the Vikings.
You said it right.
Oh, yes, I'm the great old Vikings.
Hey, anybody got anything on that game?
I got something on that game. A lot of people are giving Kirk Cousins a lot of flack and a lot of issues, talking about he made the incorrect decision on 4th and 8 to throw it too short. That's what Kirk Cousins does.
He wants to throw it to you.
I'm not sure how they thought somehow he was going to come out and be somebody else. He had Justin Jefferson, the number one receiver in the NFL, where a lot of times in previous games, he just threw it up to him. And that's where he came out and made the one-handed catch and do whatever. You got to let that young man try to have an opportunity to save the game. But instead, you knew the situation. You're a quarterback, $30, $40 million a year. You look and you like, I need 8 yards. Oh, I see a guy 2 yards away. Let me throw it to him. And let me take the onus off me, and so I can now blame somebody else.
Then he throw the ball. Hey, Keith, then he throw the ball like, oh, that's Keith. Hey,
yeah, he looked mad like he didn't know, right? He was looking like he was mad at the receiver. It seemed like he was processing when he was walking off the field, like, to me, like
that was 4th down.
You will say that when you run a route on 4th down, I would say this. On 4th down, if you're going for on 4th, you should at least run routes that at least
just
get
go beat at those sticks.
Right. With the game on the line, why are you running a 2-yard route? We ain't even gotta stick that route. We can come back down to that route.
He blamed Keith.
High school player, son, what are you doing?
But I ain't mad at him. But I ain't mad at him.
You had your Omega jersey on. It was something about that purple hue that he couldn't distinguish.
Well, hey, you know what? I ain't mad at him because the Vikings are who we thought they were. So I ain't even mad.
If old number 44, Chuck Foreman, couldn't win a Super Bowl, don't think it's ever gonna happen.
Man, they
had I want to connect the Giants to when they played the Bears. After they played the Bears and what I saw from them, I post that the Giants and it was two the Redskins, the Washington team, and it was one other team. I said those teams are actually better than I thought they were going to be this year. I think
Yeah.
at the time I said the Jets. Jets end up not making it, but the Giants to me is a very resilient team. They are
what
coached
it is?
very well, and their coach Dayball is getting the max out of them. I mean,
That's
watching
what it
Jones
is.
play this year, I have
Coaching.
to take my hat off to Jones because he played to his maximum capabilities, right? And he didn't seem to be upset about it, right? If they want me to run, I'm going to run. If it's a throwing play, I'm going to do it. And he showed a lot of courage this year. I mean, I seen him do some runs even in that game where I'm like, man, dude, oh no, who do you think you are? You're not the kid from Buffalo. I can't think his name, but he's
Josh
running.
Allen.
Yeah, I'm like, man, he's running like Josh Allen as far as strong. Saquon, I think between the two of them, I believe the Giants are going to extend them. It may not be a lot of money, but I think they may extend both of them on some kind of contract because I don't think the Giants are trying to retool like that, and you can't afford to lose both of those guys because you will be, in fact, rebuilding because you'll be losing your offense. That's your whole offense.
But I'm gonna tell y'all something. That's coaching, and the reason I say that is because everybody talked about Daniel Jones. If y'all look at, and they're not in front of me, but if y'all look at Daniel Jones' stats, not only that, who is his wide receivers?
Such and such and so and so.
Thank you, Quick. Thank you, Quick.
Yep.
This dude put up. He bet on himself because they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. If I'm not mistaken, they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. There is a Slayton, one of the guys that's on their team. They got off somebody's practice squad. Kenny Golladay, who they signed to the big contract, has done absolutely nothing for them. So they doing this with pieces. That's coaching, man. And I'm telling y'all, Brian Dayball is a hell of a coach.
He balled out.
That is coaching because he's maximized every inch of talent on that team.
Yeah, think about this though. To really see where they are, you remember where how the Bears destroyed them the year before last. They just destroyed them. They looked terrible. Now they're a playoff team. So those are some of the things that you have to look at.
And it is coaching, man. You're right.
I wanted to mention before we get off on another game. There are 4 quarterbacks that are sitting at home. They like $40 million a year. Rodgers, Murray, Russell, and Watson. So in this quarterback-driven league, paying a quarterback all of the money for your team does not necessarily translate into victory.
Absolutely.
You're right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Two of those guys are over what? They in their 30s.
Or almost close. Yeah. Rodgers is close to 40. Rodgers close to 40, ain't he?
Yeah, I think he's about 38. I think he's
38, 39.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Russell is about what, 35?
Maybe 35 or 36 somewhere.
He was older than Brady this shit.
You know what's funny? Every time when I saw Rodgers in that game, the game that they lost, remember that scene in Purple Rain when the time walked past the dressing room and stopped and said, "How's your dad?" The look that he had on his face like that, that's what Rodgers started thinking about with Devontae. Like, you know what? Devontae came up there and said, "Green Bay, give this man this money because he's my dude. I want him." And then when it was his turn to do it for him, he didn't do it. He's probably sitting up here like, "Man, I should have just said something to Devontae. I could have at least made about 4 completions or something." That look he had on his face, man, I'm like, it wasn't no discount double check.
Priceless.
Yeah.
Priceless. Yeah. I love it. Priceless.
I think they stuck with him at I believe his contract, what's left on his contract is maybe what is it? 60 million?
60 million.
60 million is left on this contract. So
the Packers is how. So let's go back, man. When you what's that old saying? When keeping it real goes wrong.
Yeah. Right.
So keeping it real going wrong is the Packers with Devontae Adams is not playing Detroit to get in the playoffs on the last day.
Yep.
Right.
Not happening.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
So Aaron Rodgers kept it real, and it went wrong.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. So
There you go.
we had the opportunity to do something else. So it's like on the Scantron sheet where you got A, B, C, D, and E, and you just be like, skip it. All the answers are C.
All the answers I see, right.
That was wrong. That was the wrong answer, dog.
Right, but you know what? I got this thing called the playoff couch. When everybody laugh at the Bears, it's like, yeah, we wouldn't put up the hors d'oeuvres and the cookies and the beer. I bet you after that game was over, Justin was sitting on the couch like, hey, Aaron, I got you.
Yep. Right. Come sit right over here next to me.
Guess who sat next to him?
Come sit right over here next to me.
Devontae Adams sat next. Don't you talk to me, Aaron. I want to watch the game.
I like to thank everybody who's watching us tonight on YouTube and Facebook, and please hit the subscribe button to Bears Banner. We want to pick up another 50 subscribers in the next 2 weeks for Bears Banner. Hey, let's move over to the Bills and Dolphins. The Bills won this game 34-31. This game
was the longest game in the history of NFL.
As close as the score.
It was a 4-hour game.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Hey, this game started at noon Central Time and it ended at almost 4 o'clock.
4 a.m.
Went to the next game for a few minutes. I was just like, man, this game. I'm like, is this the same game? I fell asleep, woke up, and it was still playing. I was like, let's get this game over. But with that said, the Bills kind of scared me in this game. I've been picking the Bills all year. They didn't look sharp in this game. To me, Dolphins actually had a point in this game where with a third-string quarterback, when you think about it, Bridgewater, second-string quarterback, he didn't play. They played a third-string quarterback in this game. They were a turnover away from almost blowing this game open, in my opinion. And they defense, they was looking nervous on that sideline for a while, you know, at some point.
And they should have been.
Like when they was in the Bears game, when Buffalo played the Bears, they had to look at themselves and say, you know, we the freaking Buffalo Bills. What we doing, right? Because it looked like they had this look on the sideline like, hey, we the Bills. Let's go out and win this game. So
you know why they won that game? Your boy Hamlin was sitting out there, and you see him on the sideline. He got his helmet on like, man, I'm ready to go. I'm ready. Okay, we got to win this game, y'all. Them dudes, man, you know what? I just think that they went in, and I really believe that they thought that they're, you know, because they got to see Hamlin, they were just all up, and they just thought the game was going to come. You still got to play the game. They realized if it had been somebody a little bit better in Miami, they'd have been sitting at the crib with Hamlin.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm not too sold on this Buffalo Bills because I'm gonna tell y'all something. Without Von Miller, that defense is not getting to the quarterback. Mm-hmm. You got Skylar freaking Thompson throwing the ball all over the yard on y'all.
Oh, that's what his name was? What his name was. What's his new name again? I don't know what this is.
Yes. And the thing about it was Miami, like you said, Bernard, there was a turnover away because Josh Allen wasn't his sharpest in that first half. And even midway through the third quarter, he wasn't really sharp. So the Bills, they skated with one. They skated with one this week because I think had that been Tua or Bridgewater, I don't know. But they kind of skated this week, which is why I still say, and I haven't been sold on the Buffalo Bills. But without Von Miller, their defenses, they can't get to the quarterback.
They was listening to that Ice Cube album. Cause I'm the one with the fat man skills and I don't choke like the Buffalo Bills.
Good job, Frank.
Was Waddle. That dude had brick hands for some reason, and all year they had been counting on this guy. I counted that he missed at least 6 good passes. And I'm being generous. I was like, I can't even believe this. Leslie Frazier, you know, they talk about him as an ex-Bears player, defensive coordinator, in line for head coaching. His defenses have sucked the last couple of years. So I don't think the Buffalo Bills, I don't think they got enough to overcome Kansas City again.
Kansas City, which is what I've been saying.
But what gives them? But what does?
Burrow either.
My opinion. But what does give them a shooter's chance? I mean, a shooter's chance against Kansas City is this Kansas City defense is like the worst defense that they've had since they've had like Super Bowl teams, but it still don't mean a win. You know
but they got Pat Mahomes though, and as much as I like Josh Allen, he ain't no Pat Mahomes.
No,
so
he ain't Pat Mahomes.
I'm still, as I've been saying all year, give me the Chiefs and the Eagles, and let's see what happens. That's all I'm saying.
But you got
chicken heads for
in this game.
When the what Chris Berman would say, nobody circles the wagons
like the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, they circled their butt back. They got away with one, really. They actually did. They snuck out of there, and it was like, you know, how you get some money you don't know you're supposed to have, and you just do like this and just hold it out to collect it. They got that check like that, but they're gonna have to play better because you know, they're gonna have to play better because Kansas City has what they call a Mahomie. And Mahomie is a bad man.
Listen, he is.
Yeah, they defense, Kansas City defense is susceptible. I think they're gonna play that game in Atlanta if it comes down to the Bills and the Chiefs. I think that game is in Atlanta. They've already
they did.
Out. So
okay,
that's really the only chance that Buffalo has.
Buffalo have a neutral site.
Yeah,
a neutral site. Yeah,
you're not gonna take Kansas City up there in that cold weather. You're gonna be playing indoors.
They doing that because of the they missed
because of the game, but because of the game with Cincinnati.
Yeah, so you're gonna be playing Mahomes on turf in warm weather.
Yeah,
hey, good luck.
Right. Yeah,
good luck.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Pat act like one of them little happy little kids. It's like, you know, our defense is that bad. What, you need 50? Okay,
hey, wait a minute,
50
guy.
Right.
Don't let his mom hear you call him Pat. His name is Patrick.
Well, see, you know, I grew up. I'm still shell shocked because I remember his daddy used to be in our division striking us out. So, Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, they was calling him Pat a couple years ago, and she tweeted and checked the announcement.
Right. His name is Patrick.
He can be whoever he wants to. He didn't won a Super Bowl. I call him whoever he wants.
Right. He got a $550 million contract. He can be called whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
I call him light skin my homie. That's what it is.
Right.
The sort of bro.
When you mentioned that location, it made me think about something I wanted to say earlier before we moved to this 49ers game. I wanted to say earlier when we talk about location, I don't like when the NFL allow teams who really wasn't that good to have home field advantage.
Yeah.
When you know, like in, for example, the Tampa game, like, okay, how do a team that barely skated in there, a team won 12 games, you playing a team that won 9 games, and they got, I understand the division stuff, but there should be some kind of minimum requirement. It kind of remember me when Seattle got in there and they won 7 games,
7-9,
and they was the division winner and they had a home. How a team get 7 wins got home field advantage?
A home field advantage
with a team that won 12. You know,
it's just like, you know what? It's just like I said about the NCAA. Quick, you wasn't on here for the game, but for the championship post game that we did. But it's just like until they change the rules, we have to accept it. Because I still say TCU shouldn't have even been in the conversation. And just like with this thing, with Tampa Bay having a home field game, that's the rules.
It is math. It is math, but it's math with an F.
Yeah, absolutely. Math.
That's what a math ain't mathing right. You know, this that new college math they was talking about.
Right.
Johnny has 5 apples. If he steals 3, what does he have? A 3 to 5. Possible I bond.
Hey, so we have the 49ers in Seattle. How about that Brock Purdy? You know what the 49ers, in my opinion, is, I had to take my hats off to John Lynch. John Lynch has did a terrific job of getting number one picks, piling them up, turning them into some more number one picks. I'm talking about early picks to a young team that he was able to even get Debo under contract when it looked like he was going to be a disgruntled player, and he played. And to get Trey Lance hurt that early in the season, and to have Jimmy G, a player you tried to trade that nobody actually wanted to pull off a trade with, had to play now because Lance is hurt, and to move forward and get Jimmy G is hurt, and to bring Mr. Irrelevant, who played for, I believe, Iowa State. I remember watching him one game, and Iowa State didn't think much of it. I said, okay. And matter of fact, Purdy just stood out because one of my friends' name is Purdy, and I don't know too many people named Purdy. So that's the only reason I remember Brock Purdy from Iowa State. That guy has played. He haven't had that destruction game. I thought it would, if it was going to happen, it happened somewhere around game 5 or that playoff game. He came in that game cool as a cucumber, if a cucumber could be cool. And they put up 41 points against Seattle. I mean, they may have something there. I don't know.
Guess what that's called?
What's that, Jay?
Coaching. Kyle Shanahan is a genius. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, Jimmy G may be gone next year, but guess who ain't finna get no starting spot? I'm telling y'all, Brock Purdy has won this team. Trey Lance may be on the trading block because there is no way. And not only that, they already said that next week, Jimmy G is going to be healthy enough to play, but he's going to be the number 2. You can't disrupt this chemistry, man. You cannot disrupt. And what I love about the 49ers, I've been saying it all year outside of the game where we played them and we beat them. Outside of that, I like this team because they fun. And anytime I see the 49ers play, they players are just faster than everybody else. They dogs. Debo Samuel is a dog.
So real dog.
Christian McCaffrey is at every position. You got Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brian Ayuk, that kid Jennings, Debo Samuel. I mean, this team is so fun to watch, and Kyle Shanahan puts them all offensively in a position to win their matchups, man. As much as I want to see Philly go to the Super Bowl because I'm a huge Jalen Hurts fan, but I'm gonna tell y'all, this might be the first Mr. Irrelevant to take a quarterback to take a team to a Super Bowl, man. The 49ers are that good. They are that good.
Yeah. So to go back real quick and talk about not disrupting the chemistry that's going on, the only team I know to ever do that was the Chicago Bears.
Oh, Chicago Bears, right.
When Kyle Orton got us all the way to the Super Bowl. Rex Grossman is going to start.
Rex Grossman is our quarterback. Rex Grossman is our quarterback.
Yeah, he was somebody else's quarterback. But I was like, Kyle Orton hadn't lost a game.
Nope.
Yeah.
Hadn't lost a game.
Nope.
And we go to the Super Bowl, we're going to start Rex. I was like, somebody smoking cocaine or Ready Rocks or something.
You wonder with decisions like that, too, is that management influence as well because they want to prove they got the draft pick right? Because you got to prove that Rex was the right guy. But this is why I give credit to John Lynch because play the guy that's winning, right? Because you don't see that like we had to be right about Lynch. I mean, Trey Lance, right? No, we trying to win a Super Bowl. We're going to go with high hands. This is almost looking like right now, and I'm not trying to give them too much credit because they haven't did nothing yet. This is looking like how when Tom Brady came in.
Tom Brady took over for Drew Bledsoe. Yep.
Drew Bledsoe. And you, after a while, you start saying, man, this kid is winning, right? And it was like, even when it looked like it went bad with the missed field goal, talking about Tom Brady, not the missed field goal, the breeze and all, with the snow blizzard, you like, man, he still moved the ball up the field in the snow and they kicked the field goal or the tuck rule happened and, all the other stuff. You're like, man, they got something here with this kid. Man, this is what it's feeling like with Brock Purdy. I ain't trying to give him nothing until he wins something, but it looks like they got a winner in this. I don't know.
But your boy Lynch, though, man. Think about it. Everybody that's actually in front office now used to play against John Lynch. We knew what he used to do. He used to send people home. You always were guaranteed a coma and a half when he was on the field. So you imagine, well, we like this player. Well, I don't know, John. You say what? We're going to give you that, and we're going to give you a draft pick. But you know what? His draft, his acumen, his eye, he just seems like I would have never thought that. Not to disrespect him, but I just would have never thought that we look like 6-7 years later. This guy would have that type of eye. It just seems like everywhere he shows up, something good happens, man.
Yeah, what you got on this plank on this game?
Before I forget, I got to talk about Geno Smith. Everybody talking about he had a career year, and let's pay this guy $40 million. He didn't win no games. So I think Seattle is still going to be in the quarterback derby as well. And that might be one of those players that sneak up on people and put together a package that we might be interested in as Bears fans.
Right. Who do they have, though, that we want?
They still got to be able to trade
DK Metcalf.
And we still got to get something for it. Yeah, we want DJ Metcalf, but you still going to have to throw something else in, like something.
Now I got to hit him with this, Nutty. So
right now, I will say I'm gonna give him some credit. I'm sorry, Mike. Geno Smith surprised me this year. He looked like crap in preseason. And he looked like
Geno Smith,
yeah. But I will say this: Geno Smith had the highest percentage of completion this year, I believe, of any quarterback. Geno Smith actually took a team that looked like they was trying to tank by getting rid of the quarterback and all that. And Geno Smith does some stuff that inexperienced quarterbacks do. But I thought Geno, still regardless of that, had a good season for a guy that really hadn't played much, and got their team in a position. Because without him, their defense was not that dominant that it was like a defensive effort. He actually did do some things offensively, to actually help this team. They were close into halftime, and I think it was tied at halftime.
And guess what? He earned himself. He earned himself a franchise tag because Seattle's going to franchise tag him for a year, and they're going to draft a quarterback. He's going to be the bridge quarterback, and then they're going to move on from him. So he did.
Credit for not sucking like he normally does. So let's not.
I mean, it is tomato. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I do give Geno credit because he did play a lot better. I mean, for a 9-year veteran that was disappointed since the time he got drafted. Y'all got to remember, this is the same dude that his teammate busted his jaw. He went through some adversity. So for him to come back and have a season the way he did, it's cool. He made the Pro Bowl this year. So it's good.
What you got, Quick? Did he freeze?
Yeah, it looked like he froze.
All right, Bernard, before we get out of here, I wanted to congratulate the Bears' 3 rookies: Jack Sanborn, Braxton Jones, Jaquan Brisker, all rookie team.
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
So that's the building blocks that's building through the draft. So hopefully we're gonna be able to do some things with that. I think
what's the process?
What you had Quick on that game on the Seattle 49ers?
I was just gonna say that going with that game, and they were talking about DK Metcalf. I brought this up me and Nutty were together, and I brought this up because they asked Steve Smith who his top 5 receivers were, and he didn't mention DK Metcalf. And so when so Shannon Sharp asked him, like, man, what about DK Metcalf? He said, think about this. He said, whenever Seattle needed a big play, they throw the ball to Tyler Lockett. They don't throw it to DK Metcalf.
Oops.
He said, so how could DK Metcalf be Seattle's number 1 receiver? He said, it's not.
That's true.
He said,
love Smitty, man. Smitty is the realest of the real, man. I
5'10", brother, stand up. Here we go.
That's true.
Man, he is the realest of the real.
Okay, so hey, I don't have the matchups in front of me. What are the matchups this weekend that's coming up? I think we have the
Giants are going to play the Eagles.
Okay.
And San Fran is going to
We're gonna have.
Dallas is going to San Fran, right?
No,
Dallas is at San Francisco.
Going to San Fran.
Cincinnati's at Buffalo. The Giants
are playing the Eagles.
And Jacksonville's at Kansas City.
Good luck, Dak.
That's a heck of a consolation for coming back from 4 interceptions. Now you got to go see Patrick.
Now you got to go.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Let's go back to that game because we talked about that game in a broad sense. We was talking about more Tom Brady and some of the pressure, but we really didn't talk about some of the details of that game. But
hold on. Are the Bills playing the Bengals? Are the Bills playing the Bengals?
Yeah.
Wow. How ironic is that? How ironic is that?
So in the Dallas and Bucks game, y'all just mentioned Dak Prescott. That's what made me thought about that we didn't really talk about the details of that game. Dak actually looked the part last night. Since he came back from injury, he has not looked like the part. He actually looked like almost like a rookie quarterback, not knowing what the coverage is. You know, I was like waiting for him to say my thumb was still bothering me, right? Well, you know, when they was I was waiting for them to get eliminated, and I was waiting for Dak to start saying, you know, I came back too fast, my thumb was bothering me, and blah, blah, right? Kind of like Aaron Rodgers was starting to try to make up the excuse of why the year. But he did actually look, so any excuses for Dak is out the window
right now.
Me, because he looked sharp in that game. He made some throws. The running game looked good. I know it wasn't hard because the Bucks defense after the first 2 series looked like this is why your franchise sometimes had to know when it's time to rebuild. Their team looked old and slow, and I mean, it just like they was getting burned. Then it was like even when they kicked it off, it looked like they special teams looked like they was slow too. I mean, that team just looked slow and old to me.
They had no fire because of Bruce Arians. This is the first year Bruce Arians wasn't there.
Yeah, that's true.
So sometimes things are accepted more by another head coach, but Bruce Arians was a high energy type guy, and his teams brought high energy. So with Todd Bowles, more of a laid back guy, the team was more laid back.
But I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Until Dallas win a playoff game, and I ain't talking about that one they just won, I can't believe them. I'm sorry. I just can't. No. This team is like night and day, man. Jekyll and Hyde. You know, it's like 1 week they score 40, and then another week against the Commanders they can't score 10. So I'm not sold. I'm not sold until they actually do something. I'm not sold.
I'm not from Missouri, but I am, and I'm from the Show Me State. You know what? This guy asked me today. He's a Cowboys fan, and just talking all this trash. He said, "What you think about Dak Prescott now?" I said, "Same thing as last week. He's Tony Romo light. Right. Tony Romo light. He's a concussion. He's a concussion or a 2 interception game away from being out the playoffs again. Until they show me a win."
Because he's been averaging two interceptions a game since
he's thrown 11 interceptions in the last 6 weeks, or something like that.
Well, that's some pattern development.
Right,
he's consistent.
Right,
he's consistent.
Right,
consistently bad. He's the black Tony Romo.
Right, he has the Kirk Cousins syndrome. I'm gonna throw you the ball sooner or later.
Right. Yeah. They went to the same quarterback camp.
Right. Right.
It's called
and Mitch Trubisky ended up being the best quarterback in their camp. So that tells you everything.
That's not good.
Yeah, it's not good, man. I'm not. You know what? I do not like the Cowboys. I hate them just as much as I hate Green Bay. But every year I see them, man. When Tony Romo was with the Cowboys, they were looking good. Oh, they're going to get past the hump. They're going to get past the hump. And the next thing you know, a week later, you see Tony Romo doing analysts.
Yeah, so, you know what? I'll say this about the Dallas. I think they are pretenders. I really not a Dallas Cowboys fan. But I will say this. When Michael Parsons Motor is gone, that's a linebacker. Yeah, he has his ups and downs. That's a linebacker.
That shows up.
Keep it real.
Correct.
That's keeping it real, though.
This is what people don't understand when they are stat readers. and they quote
Yeah.
stats. When you watch Michael Parsons play, you don't have to look at the stat line, right? He may actually lead a game with 3 tackles. He may actually only have 3 tackles, but you could see his effect on the game.
He's a game wrecker.
Quarterback running from him.
He's a game wrecker.
Correct. He's a game record. The kind of impact that kid. I mean, he was his second year.
Once again, Bernard,
I
do it again.
Yeah.
Let me take my glasses off for this one. When it comes to like baseball, like hating the Yankees and all that stuff, but nobody boos Derek Jeter, Michael Parsons ain't got to have a sack or a tackle, but I guarantee you every game he play in, he's going to be in 98% of the footage in the backfield or somewhere by the play. That dude right there, if I'm an offensive player and he's on the other side of the ball, I'm having nightmares about that dude. He is real talk. That dude's a straight up stud, man. I got
he's a game record. He's somebody that you have to plan around.
Plan your life insurance.
You have to plan. He's have to be in the game plan. You got to be like, okay, where's number 11? Where's he lining up on this play? Where's he lining up on this play? You have to game plan for him. He's a game wrecker. And like you say, he might have 3 tackles, but he's going to be somewhere around the ball somewhere.
Yeah, but then you get the intel.
When you move him, right, he to move from defensive end and you to move him inside. Now he's actually somebody else may make the play, but because what he did, he made it capable.
He made it capable
for
somebody else
guy to make the play.
Right.
I'm telling you that's
Right.
why football.
Right.
I say this and all this say this. Look, when you watch defense, you don't have to look at the stat line to figure out who the best player is on the defense. You don't have to look at no stat line. You watch that game and you know who's out there wrecking havoc. And I'm gonna tell you, when I go to that Bengals game and that Ravens game, I don't remember nobody on the Ravens doing absolutely nothing on defense that impact the Bengals to a degree that Michael Parsons was doing. I don't remember nobody doing it like Michael Parsons.
Jay, question for you: is Will Anderson Michael Parsons? Look at that! Woo! Look at that look on his face.
You know what? You know what? I believe so.
Ooh, okay.
I believe so. Yes.
On the hot seat. Go ahead, bro.
Yes, I believe so.
I'm like,
I
King's
believe
birthday
so.
was yesterday too. I have a dream.
I have a dream.
That one day we're gonna wreck the statue in Boston.
Havoc in the backfield.
But I'm gonna tell y'all, Will Anderson is a stud, man. Just go back. If y'all don't even want to look at the stats, just go back and look at this. Go back and look at his YouTube video. Will Anderson is a stud, and would I put him up there? Would I put him up there with Michael Parsons? Probably.
I've had the opportunity to watch film on Jalen Carter and Will Anderson. I watched the Texas game with Alabama. And Espanol, a lot of plays, he was no está aquí, which means he was not there. I watched. If you go back and watch the Texas game, I was sitting there like, okay, let's see who, because I'm putting myself in Ryan Poles' seat. Who's going to be the best fit here. I've made some decisions and said I think that Carter is the best guy to come here, and there's a couple of reasons why, but we won't get into that. But I've watched film on both. They both are dominant defensive players. But after watching the Texas game, I'm like, I see why we're gonna trade down.
But I'm gonna tell y'all what my philosophy is. And I mentioned this on Facebook in our group yesterday, I believe, or the day before yesterday. What I want the Bears to do is spend their free agency money on the offensive line and the defensive line. And what I mean by defensive line, I mean the defensive interior. I want that shored up in free agency, and then bring me a young stud like Will Anderson that I can put on the outside that can rush the pass rush. That can rush the quarterback. That's how. If it was me, if I'm Ryan Poles, I'm trying to get a center, a guard, and a tackle. I need 3 new offensive linemen on my squad starting next year. If I could get me 2 defensive linemen on the inside, and then I can draft me a Will Anderson, I think we'll be ready to roll.
Okay.
That's how I would do it.
We're gonna dive into some of the draft scenarios. Matter of fact, soon as this Super Bowl is over, where we kind of have a little bit more time to talk about. I know we're getting a little long tonight, but man, Jay, we're gonna have to vet that out. And also, I still want to do the Bears seasonal recap, but I want us to have our notes and everything for the Bears recap, because I want to look at, like I said, I want to look at some of the moves that was made, and because of those moves, we're actually having this conversation about the Bears drafting, right? If the Bears had not made those moves, we would not even have this conversation about what could the Bears do. And I guess in summary, as much as people were frustrated about who didn't want this to happen, they sound almost just as excited about trying to find scenarios, right? On how to fast track the Bears. Sean, and even if some of them have not came over, they in a subtle way agree that this was a good move. Because if not, why are they putting so much energy on what the Bears could do? I mean, I've seen some of the same people doing mock drafts in other groups. And I'm like, you was the same person all year talking about this is.
I can't believe they traded Khalil Mack, and I can't believe they did this, and I can't believe
how about trading Justin Fields?
That's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole other.
Since last year, they all been sending me death threats, man. They was like, kill him, crucify. But for the past couple of weeks, I come on the show and what I say: Happy draft day, people.
Hey.
Happy draft day. Now everybody like, hey, we got the number 1 pick. Man, the Bears, how they gonna lose this game? Why are we trying to win again?
Well, one thing that you got though, now you can pop your collar because you was right and you a doctor.
You know that goes hand in hand. You know, that goes hand in hand. See, when you get that doctor, you can foresee the future. Like,
you can foresee the future.
That's the ultimate. That's like you got to get a 1970s collar and pop that one. That's just like one where you like.
Hey, but so Plank and Nutty will get this. As a deuce, I'm always right anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Look at Plank like,
Hey, I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in tonight to Bears Banner, to giving us y'all evening as you listen to us talk about NFL Wildcard Weekend. We'll be back this weekend talking about the games that transpired, and we got an upcoming interview with Deanne, actually one of your sorority sisters. She agreed to come on, Jay. All right. And she plays Deanne.
Okay.
Yeah, she's playing. She was playing professional football. I mean, she come on for an interview, and so we want to talk to her about playing football, professional football. And if you ever seen one of those games in person, those games, they move fast. I mean, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, that's something I want to ask her, because they have little protection. And this, you may go there first look thinking like, man, I'm about to watch some ladies, some lingerie, but after about a few minutes, that disappeared once you see how much skill is being used and how fast the game is. And I'm like, man, I don't even know how they not having concussions, right? I mean, as fast as that game is actually moving. And anyway, that's on another note, but we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.